Hey, it's Tony Wiggins on a Monday with Locked On Jaguars. Another loss, another day to think about what the Jaguars need to do moving forward. I'm going to give you a detailed answer today, and I'll do it right here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jags, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welp, you know when I start this podcast off by saying, welp, you know what that means. That means we're about to go in and make some noise and shake, rattle, and roll. But we first want to thank you for making us your first listen here on Locked On Jaguars, because it's your team every day, and we give it to you like nobody else, man, and we do appreciate you. I hope the Jaguars appreciate you all. I hope the Jaguars appreciate the fans as much as I appreciate the listeners of this podcast, because you know why? Because y'all have been through so much, man, and we're going to get right to the nitty-gritty today. We're not going to bury the lead. I'm going to just tell you, this is the why they should move on from Urban Meyer's show. This is what it is. We can go through the details about personnel and about what they need to do to fix the team, and we can go through about changing offensive coordinators and getting back injured players and really, really going out and spending in free agency. But this isn't on-the-job training. I'm going to just get right down to the nitty-gritty. Unless Shad Khan fires Urban Meyer at the end of this season and goes in another direction, we're going to be doing the same podcast until he's gone. While it can improve some, I'm sure, I'm sure he'll learn, or he'll get some different assistants that will help him do something. At some point, this Urban Meyer will never end up winning a championship in Jacksonville, ever. We wanted Matt Dillon, and they sent us Festus. We wanted Andy Griffin, and we got Barney Fife as a coach. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. For a guy who said that he studied the NFL so much, there's not one thing that he's done that has indicated to me that he knows diddly poo about how to coach in the National Football League. Nothing. Not even his leadership skills when it comes to delegating authority to his coaches. Once again, yesterday, James Robinson, he suited up to play. He fumbled early. He proceeded to be held out for 16, 18, 20 plays or whatever it was. Carlos Hyde got more carries. Carlos Hyde fumbled. Carlos Hyde goes right back into the game. Then at the end of the game, James Robinson is in the game, and Urban Meyer was asked about it. And to paraphrase Urban Meyer, he doesn't micromanage that. He leaves it up to the running backs coach. And that's, in this case, is Bernie Parmalee, a long-time, really good player in the National Football League. He's been coaching for a while. Doesn't get involved in that. James was hurt. Maybe he was a little banged up. But he was banged up, but he was still inserted back into the game when the game was 37-7 for him to take more punishment. I just don't get it. That's a small thing. In all of the things we could mention, I'm on that one because I know a lot of fans are talking about that. But that's just a smidget of this. You have things that you commit and things that you omit that makes you sometimes good or bad, right? So those are things that he's committing, like bad draft picks. These are egregious things that he committed that hurt the team. But what we're not looking at are the things that he's omitting, like how to properly conduct the training camp so that it's not that he did it wrong, it's just that he didn't do it right. When you come out of this, you don't lose to Houston and get embarrassed because you're not ready to play. Player evaluation. You got guys on the field, man. It's like this constant tryout. It's like, this is really, it's so embarrassing. I can't even put the words on it. It's just embarrassing. Like me, my lips chat right now. I'm biting skin off my lip. It's embarrassing. But unless Shad Khan, and this is my call to him, and this is basically our call to Shad Khan. Shad, this ain't gonna work, man. You gotta get this dude out of here. He has no sense of personnel. He has no sense of how to build a team. He has no sense of who can play and who can't. He has no sense of what works and what doesn't. He's not a leader. Urban Meyer tricked me probably more than any coaching figure I've ever seen in my life. He is nothing like all of those guys that have multiple championships that have won in college, or guys that have been good like Harbaugh, and he is nothing like those people. Absolutely nothing. And I was warned by people in the industry that he was a fraud. And I'm not talking about personal life stuff. I'm talking about strictly him doing his job. And the reason why, just because, and if anybody out there says, well, just because somebody's not good at their job doesn't mean they're a fraud. It means they're just not good at their job. No, he talks like he's great at his job, and it's his job to sell himself. But he said he was an expert at this, and he studied this, and he was going to do this, and he was going to do that. And not only is he not doing anything like that, he is showing that he's incapable of even doing any of those things and keeping any of those promises to the fan base of this team. So we could make this show where I could go through and cherry pick and nitpick all of these stats, and we could talk about what if he changes coaches and this, that, and the third. He's got to go. Anything you do short of running him and Trent Baalke out of here, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg, man. It ain't going to work. It is not going to work. And you think if I'm a free agent, I want to come here and play for this clown show? I absolutely do not. At some point, if Shad doesn't fix this, these podcasts are going to start being directed at him. These little emojis and these little thumbnails that I use that might be funny, the clown is not going to be the coach. The clown at some point is going to be the owner if he doesn't adhere to what is obvious has to happen. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a dumpster fire, and the dumpster's filled with cow manure. So not only does it stink, it really stinks. Somebody asked me, I think it was last year, it said if the Jaguars were an appliance, what would they be? And my answer is still the same today. It'd be whatever that damn thing Will Smith was running around in the streets with on that movie when he couldn't get a job. That little box that wouldn't work, that's who the Jaguars are. And Urban is Will Smith, except he just doesn't have that raggedy afro. More on the moribund or downtrodden franchise that is the Jacksonville Jaguars and what should happen in just a second here on a Monday edition of Locked On Jaguars. What you have to do is get your TV together, man, and stop having all of these different passwords and devices. And in some cases, carriers, you got 75 remotes on that little coffee table, man, and you can't figure out which one works to what device you have on your TV because you ain't doing it right, and you got to get your TV together. And where you do that at is DirectTV Stream. DirectTV Stream allows you to have all of your favorites streamed through one service, whether it's sporting events, your favorite TV shows, you can get them all in one place. All you got to do is call DirectTV, man, and get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device is required, and there's no annual contract. The content varies by package. All right, so we're rolling along here on a Tuesday here on Locked On Jaguars. Thank you for making us your first listen here. It's your team every day. I wish I had better news, and I wish I had different content to give you. But I can't sugarcoat the obvious. And the obvious is, this elephant in the room is that it's not about anything else other than the fact that you pretty much you got your bus being driven by a blind man, and he doesn't know. I think he lacks passion, and he lacks the wherewithal and the ability to change anything. Therefore, I think a change needs to happen, and I think Shad Khan has to understand that. You know how hard it is to break the enthusiasm of people who aren't used to winning, but who are enthusiastic as hell because of the Trevor Lawrence pick, the salary cap, and the fact that there's some familiarity with you as a head coach in Urban Meyer. There's some familiarity with you in a winning posture, even if it was in college. Do you know how fast you broke this franchise? 12 games. It took 12 games, and really they were broke before this. But nobody expected them to go and beat the Rams yesterday. That's not it. And so, the folks are posing this question saying, if you expected them to lose, why are you upset? And it's a legitimate question. However, because nobody wants to constantly see it over and over and over and over again. That's like in capitalism, there's always going to be poor people, but does it still bother you that you see a homeless person? Yeah. But the way everything is set up, there's always going to be people that don't have money. You want crime to stop, right? Yeah, but there's always going to be crime because that's why we got prisons and court systems. You want it to not be that way, but when you see it, you just still point it out. And the Jaguars are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Who won the Jalen Ramsey trade? Who the hell you think won the Jalen Ramsey trade? I'm serious. As much as that pains people to understand, if you were him or whoever, why wouldn't you want to get away from those very people that we all think are doing a terrible job? And one thing I'm sick of, I'm tired of everybody talking about Tony Khan. Tony Khan ain't got nothing to do with this. Tony Khan running around the country somewhere doing wrestling. Folks coming at me on social media they're making themselves look stupid saying Tony Khan. Anybody who's close to this knows that ever since Tom Coughlin was around, Tony Khan had very little to do with anything. And right now, he has nothing to do with anything. Call Joe Brady. We don't call a dude that just got fired for. I really wish people would start being more educational about the way these things work. You don't bring a offensive coordinator in halfway through the season. If you fire your own OC, you know what you do? You elevate the quarterback coach, or you take over, or you elevate the offensive line coach. Nobody goes out and gets a guy halfway through. What is Joe Brady or Bill Walsh or whoever going to do 12 games into a season? And stop falling in love with these names. Joe Brady got fired for a reason. The offense stinks in Carolina. You fall in love with these names, and he gets fired, and everybody's like, bring him here now. He needs to be on a plane to Jacksonville. For what? To do the same thing he was doing in Carolina? That's the problem. You fell in love with Joe Brady being this wonder kid, and it turns out he's not. He's the same as Urban. Joe Brady had success in college, and now he's up here, and these coordinators know what the hell they're doing up here, y'all. These grizzled dudes that have been coaching in this league for a long time, they know what time it is. You need to be figuring out how to get Byron Leftwich or somebody like that in here to be the head coach. And stop with all of these Band-Aids. Call Joe Brady. Hell with Joe Brady. Let Joe Brady go to college somewhere, do whatever he wants to do. He just got fired from another job. Hold Urban or Festus or whatever you want to call him, and you tell Shad Khan, not Tony, Shad Khan, that he made a mistake. They're going to ruin that kid. I think Trevor Lawrence can be great. I was never on the whole transgender next Patrick Mahomes. I never thought he had a Patrick Mahomes arm, but I did think he was Andrew Luckish, and I thought he could be a franchise guy. You have to build stuff around him just like you have to do everyone else. all of this just take Trevor and get out of the way stuff, I never bought, because the NFL ain't gonna let one person beat them like the NBA. And you can't even really do it in the NBA, but the NBA, you can make that big jump with one guy. But the NFL is just, you need a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to talk about in segment 3 in a second what they need to do if they move on from Urban Meyer, or even if they don't move on from Urban Meyer, things that have to happen. And I'm going to use an analogy. I'm going to use a personal analogy. It's about weight loss. So I ain't going to get too much into it right now. But the thing they have to do is get rid of Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke first before you do anything. I started fasting and eating, and I'm down about 20 pounds. I have to actually start doing more physical work. I was telling somebody this weekend, but doctor's orders were monitor your diet first, take care of that first, allow your nutrition through food to first change you. And then now we're going to start implementing the physical stuff, because now I'm going to actually have to eat more because I'm going to be working out. So they wanted me to change my diet, lose weight, because he said this, because you can't outwork a bad diet. So what I'm telling you is Urban Meyer is the bad diet. You can change all of these little things around you, all around him, it does not matter. If he's still in charge, you're never going to get anything right. You're never going to see any results. Ever. I am totally convinced. I have never been more convinced that a coach is a failure than I am of Urban Meyer right now. And I've never been more convinced that the more you have him around Trevor Lawrence, the worse that kid's prospects of ever being great is going to get. Dead serious. Dead. D-E-A-D with a capital T behind it. Dead serious. Ain't nobody playing with y'all, man. They better fix it. They better get that dude out of here. They better get that dude out of here, man. Shot, it didn't work. I feel you. I was right there with you. Let's get a CEO. But he's not even that. And that's the shame of it. He's not even that guy. He's not even that guy. And it's a shame. I want to tell you what is the truth, though. Built Bar. You get the best of both worlds with Built Bar because it's delicious and healthy. So many flavors, you have a hard time choosing. We have raspberry or mint brownie, cherry or double chocolate, cookies and cream or peanut butter brownie, or will you have my favorite, which is salted caramel. Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you need to bust down those mall doors and battle all the holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you that extra something you need to keep going. So throw one in your jacket purse, or you never know when you're going to need one. You can put it in your pocket as long as you don't sit on it, and make sure you eat it, because it's covered with 100% chocolate and it's absolutely outstanding. All you got to do is go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 and you'll get 15% off your order. That's right, built.com, promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your order at Built Bar. Also need you guys to understand that if you are going to make wagers, which we all do, the best place to go is Bet Online, because it has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues to march towards the playoffs. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. From basketball to football to NHL, boxing, UFC, or your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season as we head into 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline is where the game starts. And this is where the game's going to finish here. You guys making us your first listen here in segment 3 on a loser Monday, 37-7 to the LA Rams. The Jaguars go out west and then get stomped again. Only 14 points on their 2 trips out west this year, and they've given up by over 80. So they're not very good at that. What are they good at? What has Urban Meyer done that you can really say that they are decidedly or decisively better than at any point than they were last year? Absolutely nothing. They're not better than the people. They're not as leaders. They're not better than those guys that left here, Marone and Caldwell. No, they're not. They're worse. They're absolutely worse. Those guys really fell on their sword. And this isn't a love Dave and love Doug session, because that's not what it is too. They had their faults, and I told them every chance I got. But the thing is that 1-15 season, they laid down for this franchise, and they laid down for Shad to set this thing up for somebody else to come in here and be successful. So Shad needs to really look and say, what have they done here? Nothing. They've done nothing. When you start worrying about, I hear too many people doing this, and y'all can do what you want to do, but it's kind of driving me crazy. They just need speed. They need it. It killed them when Chark and ATN got hurt, and then they need another fast guy, and they need a new tight end, and give Trevor some weapons, and they'll be fine. The offensive line is okay. But Sally even came out and said the line is garbage. Wide receiver is the most glaring thing. Okay, so I started my weight loss stuff, right? The first thing I said is my gut. I got this big gut, man. I got to get rid of this thing, man. And it's, everywhere I go, it looks like I walk in the grocery store, like I went and stole a bag of potatoes and stuffed them under my shirt. You know what I'm saying? I got to get rid of this gut. So the worst thing you could do is to start working out and target your stomach. Just work out. Just work out. Just diet. The weight ain't gonna come off where you want it to come off first. You can do some extra work in the area, but you have to just get busy, and the weight will come off the way it comes off. That's what I feel like when you guys keep talking about these wide receivers. Yeah, it's the most glaring need, but it might not be the area that is the most prudent to fix right away, because if that's not what's in your face on draft night, you can't do it. Also, if they won't agree to come here, and by they, I mean the Chris Godwins and the Devontae Adams, and it ain't going to happen, but I don't care what you offer them. And this notion that you're going to overpay guys to come here when you wouldn't overpay to keep your own people is silly. You got proven people in-house, and you won't overpay them, whether it's Jalen or Jan, but now you're out here twerking in public, needing people to come, and everybody wants you to just give up your goodies for nothing and just pay anybody anything to come here and play. That ain't how this works. What if the wide receivers don't come? You're just gonna stand there and not spend money on the rest of your team? I told y'all that line wasn't that good. Well, it's Aaron Donald. Yeah, you know what? The 49ers blocked him, didn't they? Was Von Miller? Yeah, they pancaked Von Miller, didn't they? We just watched the team beat them last week. The Rams, they've been losing the team. They lost 4 games this year. Somebody blocked Aaron Donald and them, didn't they? Or they didn't just let them dominate the game and have your quarterback running all around the field. This is what I keep telling you guys. Ain't nobody safe. And that draft class outside of Trevor, and I'll give ETN a break because he can't, no pun intended, but he's not there. He broke his foot or has a Liz Frank injury. They haven't showed you anything. Why don't they even play Cisco? If they're not playing him, he probably ain't that good. Walker Little. Every time he gets in the game, they push him around. You want these people drafting for you? These are the guys you want drafting and fixing your team. Because all they're going to do is get a whole bunch more of those dudes. They haven't learned anything. They really think their stuff is going to work. Where's Jordan Smith at? And I like Jordan, but you don't even see him out there. They ain't giving that kid a chance. J.R. Ward signed a 1-year deal. He'll be gone. You think he's coming back here? Hell no. Tyson Campbell's played better, but it comes with a caveat. They have to play cover 2 when he's in the game. Put him back in man-to-man and let's see what happens. You know why they give up runs now? Because they're in cover two. And I know Joe Cullen says, well, you can stop the run from cover two better. You just about as good as you can in man. Yeah, but you know what? Since y'all went to cover two, you ain't stopping the run as good anymore. The Rams haven't been able to run the ball on anybody, and they ran the ball yesterday. You can't outwork a bad diet. And having Urban Meyer on your sideline is akin to eating pizza and hamburgers while you're laying in the bed. You ain't never lose no weight and get in shape. Ever. You need to plug a high-powered hose up to the nearest fire hydrant, open all the windows, and put that summer gun on blast and blast everything out of that house. Shot. I'm dead serious. For the rest of the year, I'm gonna talk about Urban and his band of warriors, and I'm gonna rip them apart. But in the offseason, I'm gonna talk about the owner. You can't switch it up now. But if you don't switch it up when you can switch it up, this franchise is in absolute trouble. I don't care if you build the entire Las Vegas Strip on Bay Street and start making money over a barrel. That football team will never win with that guy as your head coach. You can win if you follow the Locked On Jaguars podcast like you do every single day, because you definitely make me a winner. But you can also win by finding and looking at and listening to the Locked On Bets podcast with your boy Q and analyst Lee Sterling, because they give it to you like you can't get it anywhere else, and they do it on the Locked On Bets podcast. So make sure you look, subscribe, like, and take a listen before you go and make your bets. Of course, you'll make those at Bet Online. It's Wig, man. I'm out of here on a Monday, man. I know you guys are ticked off, and you rightfully should be. One love, it's all good. You guys continue to take care of each other and do the absolute best you can. Don't make excuses for these people. They're terrible. They got to go. All of them. You cannot work a bad diet. And Urban Meyer is bad for your health. It's Tony Wiggins with Locked On Jaguars.